Another disappointing Sunday for the Atlanta Falcons after a 23-16 loss at the hands of the Carolina Panthers. I'm Mackenzie Engram with Sudu, Upadhyay, and we are your Chatty Birds. Sudu, the Falcons now fall 0-5 on the season, but what a game for Todd Gurley, putting up big numbers today, and I guess we could have expected this performance with how focused he seemed coming into this one.
Yeah, Mackenzie, Todd Gurley's been one of the most vocal guys on this team after the last couple of losses, really using colorful language in his post-game interviews the last few weeks to not only express his frustration, but also a commitment to playing better. You saw it this week on his Instagram. He posted this message saying, "Success in life comes when you simply refuse to give up with goals so strong that obstacles, failures, and loss only act as motivation." And boy, was he motivated today. Gurley averaged close to 9 yards per rush in this one, 121 yards on the ground, 150 total. He became the first Falcon to rush for 100 yards since Week 16 of the 2018 season, as AtlantaFalcons.com's Matthew Tabik pointed out. He also scored on this 35-yarder, breaking away from the Panther D. An Atlanta comedian, Desi Banks, who's also a friend of Fox 5, he was absolutely loving it. I know we were obviously loving it, and I continue to say feed Todd Gurley as long as he can take that workload.
Sudu, you mentioned that Gurley rushing stat, but there's another offensive accomplishment that we haven't seen in a few years, thanks to Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, you're right. We go back to our guy, Matthew Tabik, for this one. This is the first time the Atlanta Falcons have had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in the same game since the 2016 season. So shout out to Calvin Ridley for that. After posting all zeros on the stat line last week, obviously he was hurt. Ridley comes back this week to put together his fourth 100-plus yard receiving performance this season. Finished with a team-high 8 receptions and 136 yards. And I know it's really hard to find a lot of positives when you're off to an 0-5 start, Mackenzie, but Ridley and Gurley made this game competitive, and they were definitely the highlights of this one.
Now, Sudu, before we go, a little shout out to the Braves who are playing the Dodgers in Game 1 of the NLCS tomorrow. A little throwback from SportsCenter on Twitter. 28 years ago, Deion Sanders not only played in a Falcons game against the Dolphins, but also suited up for the Braves NLCS game against the Pirates.
Yeah, well, that's prime time for you, Mackenzie. What's actually interesting about that is he actually played in a playoff baseball game the night before, flew to Miami to play for the Falcons, and then he flew to Pittsburgh to suit up for the Braves. Didn't actually play, but suited up. Prime is a legend. Just another example of why.
Well, the Falcons of 2020 continue to search for their first win of the season. Maybe it comes next week against the Vikings. For Sudu Upadhyay, I'm Mackenzie Engram reporting for the Dirty Bird Report.